Good day, Ed Mount, Parkpoint Sonoma. Today we're going to talk about our backs and keeping our backs healthy, dealing with issues that we may have with our backs, particularly through the low back area. That's where most people that I work with tend to tell me that they have issues is through the low back. Most people out there have some sort of a back situation. However, if our abdominal muscles and the deeper inner core muscles, our obliques, and our back muscles are strong, we don't really realize that maybe we've got a little bit of something going on. Back issues can be caused by any number of things. The things that we can deal with here in this video and in moving forward are anything that are muscularly concerns. That would be where maybe we've got a muscle spasm, we have some muscle imbalance issues from either anterior, which is the front, posterior, which is the back, or left to right sides of our body. Those muscle imbalances can actually pull our hips and torque us so that maybe we're slightly forward on one side, slightly back on the other side. Hips are uneven so that rather than our hips being balanced this way, we have one up, one down. That will cause our shoulders to, if we have one side up this way, then we're going to have a shoulder trying to go the other way. So all of this can have a profound effect on our spine, which we want our spines basically aligned. And this is where we need medical intervention, is if particularly down here through the lower back area, what we say lumbar spine, L4, L5, sacrum, S. So you typically will hear L4, L5, S1. That's where we have a tendency to have a disc issue, where our discs sit on top of one another this way. And in between that is the disc, in between our spine is the disc, and this is what our spines are supposed to do. Not so much this, but they move this way. And if the disc material itself, which is kind of like a little bit of a donut, if it's protruding one way or the other, then what happens is that can actually press on the nerves of our spine. And that's what can cause some of the problems. And this is typically when we start seeing issues with pains in the buttocks area, going down the leg. When we start referring to sciatica, that is basically because the nerve in the lower back is pressing on that sciatic nerve. And typically that's when we start seeing pain, numbness, tingling, going down our leg all the way into our foot. Sometimes through doing appropriate exercise and movement patterns, we can alleviate that situation, again, through appropriate movement patterns, helping our body to reestablish the appropriate movement patterns, as opposed to the inappropriate movement patterns that they've been learning in order to help keep us out of pain. So what we're going to do in this segment is we're going to learn how to realign our bodies. And so what we tend to look at, and particularly myself, I'm a functional training specialist, and so we have a tendency to say we want to straighten before we strengthen. So if we have inappropriate motor pathways that we've developed because of a lower back injury, and we try to strengthen, what we're going to do is continue to reinforce those inappropriate motor pathways, and we're going to work that imbalance so that it becomes even worse. What we want to do is start off with some simple and easy exercises that are going to be done on the floor, and they're to help our body realign. Then from there, we're going to go into some really simple exercises that are going to work from our shoulders down to our hips in order to help stabilize our back. And then we're going to do some nice, easy flexibility work just to make sure that we are stretching our hamstrings, because tight hamstrings can also have a very profound effect on our low back. If our hamstrings are tight, it makes our hips either move forward or backward. And that in turn will load on those lower disc areas and can cause some problems in that way. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lie down on the floor. All right, and what I want to do is I'm lying down is I want my knees and my hips in a straight line. So I don't want to be way out here. I don't want to be really tight. I want to have a nice straight line, and I want my ankles in line with my knees. So you can see that I'm lined up really nicely here. I'm going to lie back and my arms are going to be out to the side. So this is called the position of alignment. What I'm doing right now is just lying here and being very relaxed, trying to make sure that my feet are fully on the floor. I'm not rolled out or rolled in, but that I can feel my feet and I don't feel like I'm reaching. I don't want to be really super compressed, and I don't want to be far away so that my feet, my toes are up in the air. I want to be in a position where I can fully feel my feet on the floor from my toes all the way to my heels, nice and relaxed. My back is nice and relaxed. My shoulders are into the floor. My head is into the floor. And we're just going to hang out here for about a minute, letting our body say, okay, yeah, this feels good. This is where we're supposed to be. This is how we're supposed to be. I'm also feeling whether or not my hips, if one is up in the air, you can really feel that by making sure that you're feeling like your hips and your buttocks are firmly down onto the floor. Same thing with your shoulder blades, that they're firmly down onto the floor. I can feel my arms from the back of my hands all the way up to my shoulders. Everything is nice and relaxed. My neck is nice and relaxed. And I'm not worried about my back arching or not arching. So what we're going to do now from this position is we really kind of want to lengthen our spine a little bit. So we're going to do something called a pullover. I'm going to bring my hands together straight up over my chest, and then I'm going to let my hands drift back over my head, going as far as I can. And I'm not trying to press them down. I'm letting gravity do the work for me. I'm going to hang out here for a second. Then I'm going to come right back up over the top. And then I'm going to drift back over again. And each time I go down, my upper back is going to release a little bit. My shoulders are going to release a little bit. And I come right back up. We're going to do this 15 times all together. And right back. So that's number 3. And reaching, and I can actually see with the periphery of my vision that my arms are getting a little bit lower each time. I know that personally I have a tendency to have tight shoulders, so this is something that I do on a regular basis. And that's 5. And we're just hanging out here for just a second. And again, I'm not trying to press my arms down. I'm letting gravity do the work for me. Letting my body be nice and relaxed. Breathing slow. Not necessarily trying to breathe deep. Just breathing nice and normal, being nice and relaxed. You can breathe out as you do this, and I'll demonstrate that. We're at 10. So as I go down, and then inhale as I come back up. And we're going to do a couple more. And I can feel my shoulders are really tight. I did a suspension workout yesterday. And we're going to do one more. Okay, and then from here, I go back to arms out to the sides. Okay, I'm going to give myself a chance here now just to relax, let my body come back into that position of alignment and be really relaxed. And what I'm going to do now is a lower back rotation exercise. So I'm going to take my left ankle and I'm going to put it over my right knee, and I'm just going to let my legs fall down to the right side of my body. Now, if this feels really uncomfortable, extend your leg out. If it feels really comfortable, pull your foot a little bit farther in. But basically, you just kind of want to hang out right here. And you want to be nice and relaxed. We're trying to get this the foot to the floor and we're going to press our knee toward our foot on the opposite side. If you feel like you're getting a little bit of a spasm up in your shoulders and whatnot, just want to relax a little bit. Drop your arms down if that happens to you. And we're going to hang in this position for about 30 seconds altogether. So about another 15 seconds we're going to be right here. And again, we are straightening before we strengthen. We want our body to know that we're doing something, but we want the appropriate motor pathways. All right, I'm going to come back into the center. I'm going to set my foot down, and I'm going to cross right over left, and I'm going to drift off. And you can really see the difference in this side of my body. And I'm much, much tighter on this side. And my shoulder is really unhappy. So being out here, it wants to cause a muscle spasm. So I'm just going to drop on over here. And this is also very uncomfortable for me through my hip structure on this side. So I'm going to come back, and there's a modification we can do, which is we put our feet side by side, our knees together, and then we drift over this way. Again, I'm letting gravity do the work for me. This is far more comfortable for me. I'm not having those issues, although I do want to keep getting a muscle spasm right up here between my shoulder blades. So I'm going to let my hand drift down right here to my waist, much more comfortable. I can feel the stretch through my lower back on this side, and that's exactly what I want. So we're just going to hang out here. And if one of the things we want to be aware of is, you notice I went through a whole series of trying to readjust. I want to find that comfort level. I want to be aware of my body, but I don't want to be in pain. We don't get extra points for pain. So I'm going to come back here to the center. I'm going to readjust here. My hands are back out. And I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to relax. Okay? And I'm going to let my body settle in. I'm going to feel that I'm grounded on both sides. My shoulders are down, my arms are down, my hips are down. I'm feeling nice and aligned. I've got a straight line going from my chin through the center of my body down through the pubic bone, and I'm feeling nice and comfortable. Okay, so those are some two little basic things that we're going to do just to kind of start everything out. And it also gives me an idea of what to feel in terms of what's happening with my back. So I know I'm really tight on this side today. So we're going to be aware of that as we move along with our exercises. So what we're going to start off with is I'm going to grab my tubing over here out of my little basket of tricks. All right, I'm going to come back here and be seated. I want to sit up nice and tall. I'm going to put this around my feet. Okay, this is going to be not really close enough for me. So what I'm going to do is take a double turn right around my feet here. Okay. So now my hands are in a good position. My feet are together. I'm sitting tall, and I'm just gently going to pull back. And I'm doing this not so much with my arms, but with my shoulder blades. Right here. Just squeezing those shoulder blades together. Just like that. Good. And we're going to do 10 more of these, we're going to do 10 altogether. So we're going to do 2 more. Okay, we're going to relax for a second. And again, you want to be sure that you're sitting tall. You don't want to be hunched over with this. You don't want to be leaning back with this. Okay, so now we're going to do another set, keeping our forearms parallel to the floor. And again, doing this from the shoulder blades. I'm not pulling with my hands. You can see that my arms stay in the same position. Everything is happening through the shoulder blades. And we're going to do 4 more. And 4. And we're going to relax for a second. Reach forward a little bit, kind of stretch out those hamstrings a tad bit. And we're going to come back up. We're in good position. And abdominal muscles are engaged, which means we're pulling our belly button to our spine. And there's 5, 6, pull those shoulder blades back, 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Very good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and untie ourselves. We're going to set this aside for the moment. What we're going to do now is come into an all fours position. So we want our hands right underneath our shoulders, knees right underneath our hips. And what we're going to do is called a TVA drop. So this is, TVA stands for transverse abdominis. You notice I'm not watching myself in the mirror. I have my head pointed at the floor, not down this way, but I have my head right between my shoulder blades. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull my belly button in toward my spine. I'm going to hold it there for a 3 count, and I'm going to release. We're going to do that 10 times. So 1, and release, pull, 2, and release, pull, 3, and release, 4, and release, 5, and release, 6, and release, 7, and release, 8, and release, 9, and release, 10, and release. Okay, so when we're talking about lower back, middle and upper back stability and strength, one of the things that we want to talk about is the abdominal muscles. Having strong abdominal muscles does not mean you have a six-pack necessarily. A six-pack means that you just simply have very low body fat. But having strong abdominal muscles means that you're able to stand erect. So if we look here, we don't want to be like this, okay? This is a position that we call kyphotic, which means my shoulder blades and my upper back is rounded over. My hips are actually pointed forward, and I'm kind of in this position. Head forward. We see this a lot in particularly older adults. I say that because I am an older adult. So what we want to do is we want to be sure that we're pulling ourselves upright, that my hips are not forward, my hips are right underneath myself, shoulders are back, but I'm not chicken winging, okay? This is one of the things that we hear a lot and we talk about a lot with particularly guys. We get that, my wife says that, I'm hunched over, my shoulders are hunched over. She wants me to always pull my shoulders back. Well, if you're pulling your shoulders back, you start walking around like this, okay? And we see that a lot. So you don't want to think about pulling your shoulders back. What you want to think about is pulling yourself up. If I'm pulling myself up, that means my abdominal muscles are engaged. One of the things that I recommend to a lot of people is just doing this. You can be walking along and you just do that, okay? And what's happening here is you're making sure that your abdominal muscles are engaged. If your abdominal muscles are engaged, your belly's not going to be sticking out. Does that mean you're sucking your gut in? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But what happens is it becomes a natural state so that you're always engaged. If your abdominal muscles are always engaged, you're going to have a tendency to stand taller. It's really going to help get these muscles, which are the hip flexors or the psoas muscles. That's part of what these do. And this, okay? Well, these come all the way up underneath your rib cage. These are part of those deeper abdominal, or what we call core muscles, the really deep inside core muscles. If these are nice and strong, then your hips aren't moving forward and backward like this, okay? So what we want to do, again, we want to be nice and straight as we're up here. And this feels very comfortable. If I'm like this, I can feel that. That's not a comfortable position. So we want to train our bodies to be more comfortable, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a dumbbell, what we call a lat pull. So this happens to be a 15-pound dumbbell that I'm going to use. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the right side. So my left foot's going to be forward, and I'm going to be in kind of a lunge position. What I'm going to do is lean down. I'm going to use my forearm to brace myself. I'm going to hold this, and I'm going to pull straight up, okay? And I'm going to do 10 of these on each side. As I'm going down, I'm letting my lat release, and I'm pulling with my lat. I'm not pulling through my shoulder. I have my abdominal muscles engaged. That's where my stability is coming from with this. And one more. Okay, so now we're going to change sides. All right, right here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, we're going to do the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and switch sides. And 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. One more set on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, last set. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good job. All right, we're going to set this aside. What we're going to do now is we're going to do a plank, and we're going to do a forearm plank. So we're going to drop down, and again, same kind of alignment. We don't want our head down, we don't want our head up. We want to be right here, and we're just going to hold this. My feet are in line with my knees are in line with my hips. My elbows are out slightly, and we're just going to hang out here. Just like we were doing with the TVA draw, our belly button is being pulled to our spine, and we're going to hang out, we're going to hang out. This is actually very comfortable. Breathe. And again, make sure that you're feeling your abdominal muscles holding you up. We're not holding ourselves up with our shoulders, we're not dropping down. We're staying right here, staying nice and strong. And we're going to do 10 more seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good job. Drop down to your knees. Come on back up. Okay. So, those are some very basic exercises that we can do depending on what you have in your home in order to be able to do things with. Push-ups are also very good for making your back nice and strong. Once again, we're in a plank position, and it's going to make us have to work through our upper back muscles. And our upper back muscles are every bit as important as our lower back muscles. So what we're going to do are 3 different sets. We're going to change our hand position as we go along. First one we're going to do with our hands are going to be out wide, just like this. Reason that we do this is because now we're going to really work these lat muscles, okay? And as I do this, see what I'm doing with my shoulder blades? So I'm going to turn sideways for you, just like this. Shoulder blades are going to do this, okay? So hands out wide, feet out wide. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Down to your knees. Walk yourself back. Okay, so those are really pretty simple. What we're going to do now, hands are going to be right here. Normal push-up, okay? Feet are going to be together. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Last one we're going to do, a little more advanced. We're going to reach out this way. This is really going to make us work the length of our spine, also the length of our rectus abdominis, which is everything through here, okay? So these are going to be out here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. So those are some very basic into a little more advanced things that you can do. We're going to come back into our hands and knees position, and we're going to do what's called a quadruped. Reach and down, reach and down. Try not to roll your hips. Want to keep these hips very straight to the floor. Keep your torso nice and isolated. Try to get your leg and arm parallel to the floor. Just like that. We're going to be doing 4 more on each side. If you recall the video of all the plank exercises, this is one we did, but we did a little more advanced version. This is just a simple, what we call quadruped. Okay, we're going to take that up a little bit of a notch. Physio ball. This really only works if you do have a physio ball. Being on a chair, not so much. Reason being is because of the instability of the ball. So what we're going to do here is the same kind of quadruped exercise. However, I'm going to do this, and you can see how I really have to work for stability. Okay. Sitting tall. Just like that. Notice how my body stays real still. There is a little bit of minute adjustments that happen, and it's all happening from right here. Okay, and that's my body finding its balance point. Okay, so another thing to do that you can practice is being able to do this. Getting your feet up off the floor and sitting on the ball and balancing. This is really great for the hip flexors, but more importantly, the core muscles here and the core muscles here. I'm having to find that balance point. And then you get to a point where you can sit this way and be nice and balanced. And again, you can see how my body is looking for its balance point. That means all those core muscles are engaging together. And I'm actually working pretty hard, but it's nice and comfortable. I'm not overworking. I'm letting my body find its pathway. I'm sitting nice and tall. We're just going to hang out here for a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get rid of this ball. All right. What we're going to do now is we're going to drop back down to the floor, and we're just going to do some finishing up stretches, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sit and I'm going to step over. I'm going to put my arm here, sitting nice and tall. Don't want my hip up in the air. Want my hip down. And I'm just going to rotate slightly. I'm not trying to get all the way around. I just want to feel a little bit of a stretch, tiny, tiny, tiny stretch in my lower back while I'm doing this. And we're just going to hang out here for about 30 seconds. Everything is nice and relaxed while I'm doing this. I'm sitting nice and tall. Again, I can feel that both hips, both my sits bones are both in contact with the floor. I'm going to turn, I'm going to go the opposite direction. And again, you don't want to be like this. You want to be up nice and tall. Okay. And we're just going to hang out here. So we're going to be doing other videos along this vein. The next video that I'm going to do for you is going to be about hip health. So we will be doing that one because our hips are very much connected to our back. And we want to be sure that our hips are nice and strong. We're going to be doing knees and we're going to be doing shoulders. So with all of those together, we're going to have a lot of good information. Okay, we don't want to be leaning over, we want to sit up nice and tall, and want to make sure that our butt is down on both sides, shoulders are down, and nice little easy rotation. And we're just going to hang out while we're doing this. Again, no pain. Awareness is okay. Awareness is not the same thing as discomfort, all right? Discomfort is like, oh, you know what? I really don't like the way that feels. We don't ever want to go there. Awareness is like, okay, yeah, I can feel those muscles and we like that. Okay, we're going to go the opposite direction again, sitting up nice and tall. Stretching is very, very important. The more flexibility that we have, the stronger we're going to be. Our body, it's really tough to make our body strong if we don't have balanced flexibility. Okay, we're going to come back to the center. We're going to tuck in, and I can't, right? Want to be nice and straight, so I'm going to be here. I don't care where this knee is. I'm going to let gravity do the work for me. Just reaching out again, sitting nice and tall. So going back to what I was saying, if we don't have good flexibility, not just in our joints, but through our muscles, we can't move. And if we can't move, our body learns how to cheat and it starts shortening up its range of motion. If it shortens up the range of motion in any part of our movements, we actually begin to weaken our bodies. Okay, we're going to change sides. All right, and if we weaken our bodies, then instead of doing a pull-up like this, if we're only doing a pull-up like this, well, we lose our strength in this range and we lose our strength in this range. We only have a little bit of strength right here. This is what we see an awful lot when we're in the club. People just doing very limited range of motion, overusing their bodies, and consequently it's because they're using too much weight, or they're just not really feeling their body. They're going and they're just simply doing an exercise somewhere. Okay, we're going to reach out. We're going to hang out here and do both. So consequently, what you're doing is you're learning how to cheat. You're not learning how to really exercise your body and use your body the way that nature intended for you to use your body. It's very, very important. We have, for the most part, forgotten how to move and how to use our bodies. So consequently, we've weakened our bodies, and that's what opens us up for orthopedic issues. Well, through this series that we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, I hope that I can help educate you in order that you feel your body, you're more in touch with your body, and it's not mirror muscles. We're not trying to look good in the mirror. What we're trying to do is make sure that our muscles are strong, that they're supporting our spines, that they're supporting all of our bones. That's what musculature is for. That's what moves us, okay? So we want to be able to sure that we can move, and we can move pain-free. So God bless you. Everybody stay well, and I will